everybody. I wanted to go ahead and give you another fun recipe to make today. And this one is actually from my book, The Ghoulish Gourmet, which is all vegan Halloween recipes. And we're gonna make it a little bit different. The recipe is on the blog, and I'm gonna post it in the comments once I'm through filming the video. You make an ice creamless shake by using ice and it's something to thicken it with. So like xanthan gum, or you could also use pectin, like you can with for jam. You can also use ground chia seeds. Today I'm going to use xanthan gum, but the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make pecan milk. And so here's how I would do this different. If I'm making an ice creamless shake, I'm going to use a half a cup of pecans, which is kind of a lot, but we're making a cream, so something that's really thick. I'm going to show you how to make a coffee. So I'm going to make my pecan milk with a quarter cup of pecans today. And so you can, after you make this milk, you could go ahead and strain it, but I don't, because once you're making kind of a frappuccino kind of frozen coffee or ice cream shake texture, you don't really need to thin that out. So what we're going to do is just add about a cup and a quarter, cup and a half of water. I'm going to save some just in case I want it to be thicker. And this is going to get loud for a minute, so I apologize. Oh, maybe it's not. Ha! The plug isn't plugged in. Let me go choose that. That's live feed for you, everybody. I got excited and got everything together but the blender. So, now let's try that again. From some tiny pieces, and you may be able to see a little bit better on the lid that there are some pieces. So you could either keep going until it's where you want it, or you could strain it out. If you don't have a fancy dancy Vitamix, you can use a less expensive blender. You just might have to blend it for longer. And so you can kind of see the frothing milk in there now. I'm going to go ahead and put in some pumpkin, because this is going to be a pumpkin pecan shake. One of the things I do is at the end of the season, I go ahead and pick up as many organic pumpkin cans as I can on sale, and I keep them all year. I think I got these 2 years ago, and the date on them is 2018. So that's a good thing to do. The other thing you can do is get yourself a pie pumpkin, which is a little bitty pumpkin like this, not the big jack-o'-lantern pumpkins. And you can poke some holes in it, put it in your slow cooker, and cook it for 8 to 9 hours. Or you could poke some holes in it, put it in your Instant Pot on a grate, or with maybe like half a cup of water in it, and cook it for probably about 10 to 15 minutes, depending on the size. In both cases, you're going to let it cool down, and then you're going to scrape out the seeds, and then you're going to scrape out the flesh, which is just like puree already. So it's a really great way to do things. And I freeze those in 1.5 increments, which is the equivalent of a can. So next, we're going to add our coffee. And this is coffee concentrate. So this is actually in the French press that I made it with. So you coarsely ground coffee. I fill it up to about here. Fill the rest with water. You let it sit overnight to 24 hours. Press it down, and then you have coffee concentrate that doesn't cost you $10 a bottle. And you can use more or less coffee concentrate depending on how strong or less strong you would like things. Next comes the spices. So we're going to put about a half teaspoon of cinnamon, a 1/4 teaspoon of cardamom, maybe a heaping one for me because I love cardamom. We're going to put some allspice, and we're going to put about 1/8 of a teaspoon of allspice and just a pinch of cloves. If you really like any of these or hate one of these spices, use it or don't. It's totally up to you. This is your deal. I'm also going to sweeten mine with a little bit of maple syrup. I'm going to kind of free pour maybe like a tablespoon or 2. And you can always fix this up. So we're going to blend all this together with a little bit of our thickener. So since I'm using xanthan gum, I'm going to use a little bit less because it gets thick really quick. So if you're using something like pectin or ground chia seeds, you're going to have to do those for longer. Not for longer. You're going to have to put more of them in. This has been a very exciting day for me. So in case you're wondering why do we have to put xanthan gum in, if you can see it you may not be able to see too well, but it's a little thicker than you expect it to be. And once you put the ice in, it's actually like in your frappuccinos too. It's xanthan gum that pulls the ice and everything else together to make it into a frappuccino. So I'm going to put some crushed ice. If you have a not strong blender, then you definitely want to try and use crushed ice if you can. I find it just makes a better product and everything grinds up a little bit better. It's a little less than I like. I like things to be super, super thick, but this is not slouching either. So hopefully you can see. And you can see some ice chunks in there. You could keep making them smaller by maybe pureeing it a little bit longer, but this is pretty nice. And then you've got your straw. And that's so good. It really has like a great fall flavor from the pecans. I love pecan milk for my coffee anyhow. And Starbucks is having this maple pecan flavor of the fall to go along with their pumpkin spice. And this is very close to it. So you could actually leave out the pumpkin and do kind of a copycat Starbucks maple pecan with this as well. If you want to do it for kids, obviously you leave out the coffee and go ahead and add extra pecans because that makes it more like a cream instead of a milk, and you'll just be amazed. It's a really great treat for fall and to get something that's not so bad for them into your kids before they go trick-or-treating. So please post a picture of this if you end up making it, and I will go back and put the link to the recipe and a link to the Ghoulish Gourmet, which is my Halloween vegan cookbook. So have a great day, guys, and enjoy your coffee.